Hey guys, Casey here, Lions Den Investments and Reviews. Hope you guys are having a good day. It's Friday. And as usual, on Fridays here in the blockchain space, you never really know what to expect, specifically because there's a lot of options traders out there right now who are looking at those expiration dates on their contracts. Um, but with that said, I want to look at the charts here today on Bitcoin real quick to show you where we're at. We did have a nice rally over the last couple days. Right now, Bitcoin's sitting at $32,530. But if you're wondering if we're in a new uptrend or if if we can continue going lower, we did break the overall downtrend here. So as you can see, here was our downtrend. We did break through that. Okay, but we're still below the weekly support line, and that is acting as resistance. Okay, we still have a 200-day moving average up here at about 38,574, so that's a major resistance level as well. And quite frankly, there just isn't enough volume there just yet. But without looking at too much of the charts, because quite frankly, nobody can predict where Bitcoin is going right now, specifically with all the news and the fundamentals, which is what I want to focus on today. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, because what we do over here is not only cover some of the technicals on charts and stuff like that, but we cover the fundamentals and what the overall sentiment in the market is doing. Is it bullish? Is it bearish? And that's what I want to focus on today. Not to mention, we also cover a lot of in technical details with projects. Okay, so like if you go back and watch a couple videos ago, I was doing a breakdown on Theta's RPC API for the Ethereum adapter. So we'll do stuff like that as well. I'll go over the protocols with Ethereum, break down the EIP 1559 protocol there. Speaking of that, August 4th is when you're going to start seeing Ethereum possibly, and this is kind of speculative, but I don't really think so based on supply and demand and the burning of ether. But I think you're probably going to start seeing Ethereum possibly decouple from Bitcoin if Bitcoin doesn't turn around here, say in the next 2 weeks. Again, take that with a grain of salt, because it's purely speculative at this point. But when you're looking at Ethereum from a supply and demand perspective, from economics, it's inevitable. Okay, so if you haven't checked out that video, go check out that video. I'll leave a link somewhere up here, so you can go watch that. But getting on to the article here about the options contracts, Bitcoin traders watched 32,000 ahead of Friday's $330 million Bitcoin options expiry. All right. So right now there's a support level there holding at 32,000, and that will determine who is the victor of Friday's $330 million Bitcoin options expiry. I'm not going to go into depth with this article because, quite frankly, it's just traders, it's just people that are trying to manipulate the markets. But I want you to be aware of that in case you see Bitcoin turn around and start heading lower and bringing the market down again with it, because quite frankly, like I said, I don't care where the prices go right now. I am a long-term investor, and I'm trying to kind of shift people's mindset more towards being a long-term investor, rather than chase prices right now, because the last thing you want to do, specifically with this blockchain space and the crypto market as a whole, is trying to guess where the prices are going to go, because you're just going to get burnt. I hate to say it. I don't care how good you are as a trader. Eventually you will lose. And hodlers, for the most part, in this market always win. Okay, specifically if you watch what the whales are doing versus the retail investors, the whales always win as well, the big institutions. And no matter what they say, you always want to watch what they do. Okay, now with that said, let's go over here. Look at this. Is this bullish or bearish news here, guys? Stellar Foundation eyes MoneyGram takeover. Now, if you're not familiar with MoneyGram, they are a big money transfer company, and they did have a partnership at one time with Ripple Labs. Okay, and they are one of the first major um, development foundations. Okay, that was working with Ripple, and Ripple was able to prove a lot of their real world use case using MoneyGram, and they saved MoneyGram a ton of money on the back end using the XRP ledger. Now, everybody saw this when the SEC lawsuit took place with Ripple. Again, the relationship between Ripple and MoneyGram had to be separated, obviously. Um, and since then, Stellar has stepped in here and they're eyeing the MoneyGram takeover. So, Stellar, if you're not familiar with Stellar Lumens, it's the XLM crypto. Um, they are, if you look at the ISO 20022 framework on the development side and the engineering framework that goes into that, if you read over those documents, you'll find out, and if you talk to other developers who are working on these projects on Stellar, they'll tell you that the back end of the cross-border payment system, okay, is going to be made up on the Stellar Lumens ledger. It is basically, when it comes down to it, Stellar Lumens is going to be used with domestic banks across the board in multiple different countries across the planet. And then you would have XRP and the Ripple ledger and some hyperledger blockchains or consortiums acting as your global hub or the front end for on ramp and off ramp. You know, with these the U.S. digital dollar, the central banking digital coins, and you'll be able to use the XRP token to on ramp and off ramp those global hubs, and then convert over into something like XLM at the domestic level, which would be the back end development. So XRP front end, XLM is back end for the framework when it comes to this new financial system. So I would say that is extremely bullish. Okay, you can read over the article for yourself. I'm not going to bore you with it, but I just want to show you that. And then coming over here, this one really caught my attention because all you have to do is look at the name. Rothschild Investment Corporation. Okay, Rothschild, guys, if you don't know who Rothschilds are, pretty much the wealthiest planet, or the wealthiest family on planet Earth. Okay, they've been in the banking industry, playing wealth transfers for, centuries. Okay, go back and do a little bit of history on the French Napoleon War. They were involved with that when it came to the banks. Read over that story because it's pretty interesting, and that's what I'm referring to with wealth transfers. They are always on the right side of the transaction, and that's how they accumulate a lot of their wealth. I didn't even know that the Rothschilds had their own investment corporation until I saw this article. And the reason why I'm pointing it out is because I have a feeling that with them putting their names on Bitcoin, okay, and tripling their position here on Bitcoin, something big is about to go down. Because guys like Rothschilds, JP Morgan, all these other big banks, they don't put their name on something unless they win, unless they're on the right side of that transaction. So, keep your eye on the next couple weeks because I have a feeling something big is going to happen, and it's going to move the markets. Okay, I don't know which way it's going to go, but from everything I've been sharing with you, my guess is that we're going up because we're going to have to eventually, right? We've been in a downward trend since back in like April. Okay, it really doesn't matter here. The main focus here is not the money, but basically the Rothschilds' indirect position in Bitcoin now represents approximately 4.2 million compared to the 1.92 million in the first quarter. So yeah, that's a tripling of the holdings they have, and this is just public. Okay, I was having a conversation, with a friend of mine the other day, Big C. His name's Matthew. Go check him out. I'll leave his channel in the description below. But I was having a conversation with him, and we were talking about the Rothschilds, and he was saying him and his friend were having a discussion, and they were saying that they think this is just public holdings on Rothschild. They think the Rothschilds actually hold far, far more Bitcoin than what you're seeing here. And I have to agree with them on that because this is just a public record, and who the heck knows how much these guys really have. But they're putting their name on Bitcoin. And to me, that is a huge, huge bullish signal that something big is going to take place here over the next 2 weeks, maybe starting in 2 weeks, and then taking us into the end of the year. And I say bullish because, like I said, these guys don't lose money. Here's the other article. Now, I went out and tried to find some more information on this. This was, I was talking about this in a previous video. Yellen tells regulators to act quickly on stablecoin rules. Now, I was looking to see because they met up with the Security and Exchange Commission and the CFTC. I believe that was just yesterday or the day before. And I was looking to see if anybody, had heard any news coming out about actual regulations that are being put in place at this very moment, like specifics. I couldn't find any specifics, but she's telling them to act quickly on the stablecoin rules. And if you remember, Elizabeth Warren was telling the SEC in a video that I just shot recently as well that they had till a July 28th deadline to get something in place as far as regulations and like compliance and policy rules. So now you got Yellen on top of Elizabeth Warren saying the same thing. So they are cranking up the pressure on the regulators right now. And I think here very, very soon you're going to see some decisions that are made when it comes to regulations, specifically on stable coins, okay? Now, stable coins, again, are usually pegged to a currency of some sort. And, I don't know if those will be used with CBDCs. I have no idea how that's going to work. But it definitely, I think they need some regulation around stable coins, quite frankly, because you need that stability if you're going to use them, having them pegged to a currency. Otherwise, there is some systemic risk there involved that directly ties back into a country's currency. But that's all I have for today's video, guys. I wanted to keep this video kind of short. And next week, I probably will not have any videos coming out. I'm going on a vacation with my wife for about 7 days here. Just to get away from all the craziness with work. So I will not be shooting a video next week. I just need to take a break for a minute, decompress, and then I'll come back after that and we'll start hitting this hard again. And maybe by then, guys, you'll see Bitcoin at like 40,000. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that's where we're going here because, I was glancing through my articles earlier on my phone, and guess who's back out there again saying that, they're going to be accepting Bitcoin again. Elon Musk. So, what happened last time he did this. You saw what happened to the markets. This time, I think you're going to see more and more people like Elon Musk getting behind it, and maybe even coming up with some solutions to, the mining rigging problem and all that. I know the U.S., since China got rid of all their mining rigs for Bitcoin, the U.S., I think, is number 2. I can't remember behind who else, but they are now one of the main mining rigs for Bitcoin across planet Earth, which again here in the US that'll be bullish for the overall blockchain space. So yeah, it'll be exciting to see what happens. And with that said, you guys have a great weekend, and Casey signing out. Take care.